Take a moment to think. How would you react if life suddenly presented you with the toughest choice? What if you were faced with the question, sacrifice inner peace for external success, or choose the path of resilience despite the struggles ahead? Throughout history, there have been people who faced such a choice, and their philosophy still lives on to provide answers to us. Welcome to the channel, where we explore a philosophy that helps not only survive, but to achieve strength, inner harmony, and determination in the most challenging situations. Today, we will talk about the great legends of Stoicism, about those who stood before life's storms, didn't break, and continue to inspire us with their resilience. Are you ready? Let's dive into the philosophy that will help you rise above the rest. We will look at how the great Stoics applied their wisdom in practice and how their lessons can change your life. Agree? Being the hero of your own life is not just a dream, it's a goal that's achievable if you harness the power of Stoicism. Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it is a path, a way to be alive and feel free in a world full of uncertainty. It is a path you must walk to learn how to control yourself, not circumstances. Are there people in the world who have mastered this? Of course. And in this part of the video, we will talk about those who not only taught us Stoicism, but also became examples of how to overcome any trials with dignity. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. Their names are known to all, but what lies behind them? These were people who didn't just write about ideals, but lived by them. Their lives were full of tragedies, suffering, and failures, but it was Stoicism that helped them deal with what seemed impossible. Seneca was a Roman philosopher who was born into a wealthy and influential family, but he could not avoid the tragic moments of life. As a scholar and politician, he experienced an enormous amount of internal and external conflicts, including being accused of conspiracy and exiled. However, it was during these trials that he learned that true freedom is freedom from emotions and external circumstances. He taught us that not everything that happens affects our soul. Seneca showed how important it is to take responsibility for our actions and not allow external circumstances to define our inner state. It's hard to believe, but he himself went through several moments when death could have been a release for him, yet he never lost his composure. Epictetus, a former slave and later one of the greatest philosophers of Stoicism, who taught us that nothing happens to us without our will. He was a philosopher who came to Stoicism through the harsh trials of life, fighting not with external enemies, but with his own internal conflicts. He said that a person is free only when they realize that they alone can control their inner world. It is the teaching that we can change our reaction to external events, and therefore we can be fully in control of ourselves, no matter what happens around us. His philosophy was extremely simple, yet immensely powerful. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, a Stoic who ruled the world, yet was one of the most enlightened thinkers of his time. His diaries, filled with deep reflections, remain a vivid example of how Stoics practice self-discipline, honesty, and the ability to remain steadfast in any situation. His philosophy was about doing the right thing, regardless of what happens around you. Even when he was surrounded by enemies and his world was falling apart, he continued to walk the path of dignity and reason. These great Stoics showed that the strongest person is not the one who rules the world, but the one who rules themselves. And their lessons are not just philosophical theories, but practical guidance on how to be the best version of yourself, despite any storm that may come your way. Being a Stoic is not about renouncing the world, but accepting it as it is, with the determination to remain calm and focused. Now let's move on to how Stoicism can help you rise above the rest. Unlike philosophies that teach avoiding suffering, Stoicism teaches overcoming it. This is the philosophy of winners, not because they avoid defeat, but because they understand that true strength lies in becoming stronger with each defeat. Stoicism is a weapon that will help you not just survive, but to conquer. Now, let's dive into what exactly makes Stoicism so unique and useful for each of us. It is a teaching that does not shy away from struggle, but instead uses it as a means to achieve greatness. It teaches us to control only what is within our power and to accept everything that lies beyond our control. Stoicism is not a philosophy of winning at any cost, but a philosophy of winning over oneself. This is where its true power lies. A Stoic does not strive to be perfect in the eyes of society. They strive to be perfect for themselves, not allowing their emotions and passions to control their decisions. This is not an easy path, but those who choose to walk it become invincible. Let's take Marcus Aurelius, for example. Despite his status as a Roman emperor, his life was full of heavy trials, political intrigues, wars, personal losses. But despite this, his diaries, which he kept for many years, continue to be a source of inspiration for many people to this day. So what is in these diaries? They are not just records of his experiences. They are a practical guide on how to maintain inner peace when the whole world is falling apart around you. In his writings, there is no room for complaints or grievances, only reason and acceptance. He said, you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it. This is a powerful reminder that for a Stoic, the most important thing is the reaction to events, not the events themselves. This approach doesn't mean passivity. On the contrary, the Stoic actively strives to be better, but not through external achievements, but through internal transformation. He understands that his strength is not in changing the world, but in changing his inner nature. Let's take Epictetus, who was a slave and endured the harshest conditions in life, but even in captivity, he remained free. He taught that true freedom lies not in external circumstances, but in the ability to control our thoughts and feelings. For a Stoic, there are no unacceptable situations. There is only an unacceptable attitude toward those situations. And it is this philosophy that helps us rise above the rest. Regardless of what happens around us, a Stoic sees every trial as an opportunity for growth, not a threat to his world. It is this ability to perceive all difficulties as lessons that makes Stoicism such a powerful tool for personal transformation. And what about Seneca, this great thinker who endured persecution, exile, and even execution? He never hid from life, from its difficulties. He taught that our reaction to pain and suffering is the most important aspect. We cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can choose how to respond to it. Seneca taught that there are two types of people in the world: those who endure hardship and those who fight against it. And those who accept life as it is always emerge victorious. This is the lesson we can learn from the lives of Stoics. Not victory over the world, but victory over oneself. The essence of Stoicism is that we don't waste energy on what we cannot change. When we begin to think and act as the Stoics teach, we free ourselves from unnecessary worries and emotions that don't lead to progress. Instead of complaining about circumstances, the Stoic seeks a solution and learns lessons from even the most difficult situations. This allows them to be invincible, not in terms of physical strength or control over the world, but in terms of inner freedom and resilience. Stoicism teaches us to be the heroes of our own lives, not slaves to circumstances. At this moment, each of us can become stronger and more confident as we realize that our strength is not in controlling the world, but in controlling our perception of the world. This is a philosophy that helps us not just survive, but to conquer. Conquer not external enemies, but internal weaknesses, fears, and doubts. The Stoics believe that a person can become truly free and strong when they learn to master their thoughts and emotions. They show us the way to remake ourselves, to achieve that state where nothing external can disturb our inner peace. In conclusion, if you want to rise above the rest, Start with yourself. Apply Stoicism not as a theoretical doctrine, but as a practical guide for life. Manage your emotions, accept your weaknesses, and learn lessons from each day. And when difficulties arise, and they surely will, you will be ready to face them with an open heart and a calm mind, knowing that true strength lies within you. Stoicism helps us understand that life will not always be perfect, and all external circumstances, whether problems at work, in relationships, or in personal life, will not always be under our control. But this is where the power of Stoicism lies, learning to see every moment as an opportunity for growth. And this is what allows the Stoic not just to survive in this world, but to conquer it, not by fighting external obstacles, but through acceptance, self-control, and inner strength. Stoicism helps reveal our true power. This philosophy teaches us how to be worthy of our own goals without getting discouraged or losing heart, despite the trials of life. But how can we apply all these principles in our daily life? Application of Stoicism, step by step. Let's embrace one of the most well-known principles of Stoicism, the realization that we cannot control the external world, but we can control how we respond to it. This may seem simple at first, but in reality, it turns out to be a huge challenge for each of us. We are used to analyzing every moment of life, every action and result. We believe that we can control absolutely everything. But Stoics teach us to let go of these illusions and understand that everything happening around us is not our responsibility. What matters is how we internally perceive these events and how we respond to them. Let's take a real example. Imagine you are faced with an unexpected difficult moment. Say you are criticized at work or in your personal life. The Stoic will not resist this situation, nor will he oppose the emotions caused by the criticism. Instead, he will look for what he can learn from it. The Stoic will ask himself, what can I control in this situation? And most likely, it will turn out that the only thing you can control is your reaction and attitude toward what's happening. This is what makes us free. We do not allow external events to control our thoughts and feelings. This is where true strength lies. The most important lesson we can learn from the lives of Stoics is not to be slaves to our emotions and external factors. Epictetus, for example, taught, "It is not the thing itself, but our opinion about it, that causes us pain." This key insight is something to keep in mind if we want to achieve inner peace. Our emotions and perceptions of the world often make us unhappy, but if we view these events through the lens of Stoicism, we will see that we can change our reaction and not allow emotions to take control. But how can we apply Stoicism practically in our lives? Simple, yet effective practices that can be implemented in daily life. Mindfulness and self-reflection. Every day, spend a few minutes to consciously reflect on what has happened in your life. Apply Stoic principles by asking yourself questions. What could I have done differently? What did I control and what was beyond my control? Daily affirmations. Adopt the practice of daily affirmations that will remind you of Stoicism. For example, I cannot control what happens, but I control my reaction to it. Meditation. Stoics highly valued self-control practices, and meditation is one way to stop the flow of thoughts in order to see them more clearly and make decisions more consciously. It helps stay in the moment and not be consumed by worries about the future. Gratitude practice. The Stoics taught us to see the positive even in the most difficult situations. Regularly expressing gratitude helps us focus on what we have and not waste energy on what we don't have. What makes Stoicism such a powerful tool for personal transformation? First, it frees us from the need to constantly seek external recognition and success. The Stoic knows that happiness and peace lie within us, and that if we are internally confident, no one and nothing can break us. Stoicism teaches us that the most important thing is inner acceptance, which doesn't depend on what's happening around us. Secondly, it teaches us to be strong in moments of weakness. No matter how the world around us appears, the Stoic remains still and focused. The principles of Stoicism teach us to maintain composure even in the most turbulent waters of life. After all, as Marcus Aurelius said, difficulties are not a punishment but a path to perfection. It's important to learn to see life as an opportunity for growth and every challenge as a chance to become better. And third, Stoicism helps us find our true purpose. Not external fame or recognition, but the true purpose, to be a person who remains true to their principles, doesn't give up under pressure, and always moves towards perfection, regardless of how many obstacles lie in their way. Stoicism is not a philosophy for the weak. It is a philosophy for those who are ready to face life's challenges and meet them with an open heart. It is a philosophy for those who believe that strength lies within us, and that despite everything, we can be masters of our thoughts and emotions. The time when we can control the world has not yet come, but the time when we can control ourselves has long since arrived. Rise above the rest. Be a Stoic. Live with inner strength and the confidence that you are capable of more than you think. And when the next storm of life comes, you will be ready to meet it with the courage and calm that Stoicism brings.